This here is my 1998 GMC Sanoma. I picked this truck up for $500. Total steel. Was told it had lost compression. I never personally tested it because I'm ripping this little old 4-cylinder out. This is a 2.2 automatic. It's already got to go. I plan on throwing in here a built 4.3 cam, ported heads, all the upgrades, just to try and do it. I'm also going to pair it to a NV 3500 manual transmission. Unsure on the gearing on the rear end yet, but we'll get there when we get there. So when I picked this truck up, it told me it had no compression. Underlying issues, it looks like the fuel line in between, just after the fuel filter, is leaking. On the frame rail, it is all grimy right there next to the fuel filter, as well as on the bottom of the cab. So I'm going to show you the little bit of body damage that I picked this truck up with. So I've already taken the liberty of just pulling some of the parts and pieces off. My friend, who happened to have a 2001 Sanoma base model, they don't have any heat, or they have heat but no AC. So I went and gave him all of the AC stuff because I don't need it. I'm not going to run it. We're going to patch up all these little holes, all the little bolt holes, everything. I've already taken the liberty of pulling the window wiper motor because I'm going to take that and throw it in my 1994 Chevrolet S10. The motor's slowly going out. It's not a problem, but we'll see if this one's any better. If not, I'll purchase the new one. But keep it cheap, keep it free. So the only bit of body damage on this entire truck is only 2 spots, not including the clear coat, of course. It's here on your kicker. I've got a crack that just runs along here, and as you can see, if you step back a little bit, you see the little concave. Nothing we can't fix, nothing at all. And the only other body damage on this entire truck is right here on the tailgate. As you can tell, she's a little tapered in. Something in the back of the bed rolled back and smacked her hard. Other than that, she's a fairly clean truck. I've already taken the liberty of pulling the seats out and disposing of them properly on the side of the street. I've already begun a little bit of pulling apart the dash, as to one of the people I know in the S10 group here in town wanted the radio. An older gentleman, probably 80s, can't remember. I went ahead and just gave him the radio. He wanted the antenna wire, but we couldn't get it out. I'm not fighting with it right now. This whole dash is going to come out. It's going to get the stainless steel dash, race dash. I have an aftermarket tack. I'm going to throw my bench seat from my old 94 S10, not that one. Carpet's in pretty good shape. Took me a little while to get it this clean, but I will try harder. I'm going to get the hole cut in the floor for my NV 3500 to pair it to my 4.3. Manual windows, of course. I'm not sure how I feel about these door panels. What usually gets my fancy are the door panels in my 94, as well as the dash. Love the way they're shaped. Love the way the dash is shaped. We'll save this truck for another time. But I've started pulling the motor. I went ahead and already pulled my 2 motor mount bolts, as you can see right down in there. One's already missing. This side's already out. So now I've got the trans bolt on the bottom. I don't know. Then we're just going to lift it up and see what happens. I know a little bit of the exhaust is still connected, but I'm not running this exhaust, nor the hangers. And we've already taken the liberty of cutting it off. I'll explain that why in another video on my red truck. But it's just that little guy right there.
probably a couple wires. I'm not reusing this harness, so I probably will get rid of that. But there's, as you can tell, a little bit of leaking right after the fuel filter. As you can tell, the difference in the color of line. It's not a different color, it's just bad. So, I mean, frame is fairly clean. Could use a touch-up with a little bit of paint. It looks like somebody had done it previously in this truck's life. Could use a little bit of a pressure washing, but no one ever sees the bottom of here, so I think it'll be fun. Gas tank actually has a cover over the front. I've never seen that one before. But we're gonna try and get this motor pulled today. I'll see you there.
So after a little bit of finagle work on the exhaust, the Sawzall, the exhaust is no longer an issue. Grab a cold one, got a long one. So I've already went ahead, disconnected the speed sensor off the transmission. Now the gas lines are still hooked up. We're going to kind of see what happens. I'll take them off as I need to. I don't think there's any gas left in the truck, but who knows. Also, while I was under the truck, I found out something very concerning, but we'll tell you about that in the next episode. Because it's going to need a little work. Not terrible though. Nothing we can't handle. So, I'm going to go ahead and put the jack under the end of the transmission, just so we can smooth it out a little easier. Get the hoist chained up, ready to go. We'll start yoking this thing right out of here. See if we can get out of this bad girl right here. Little bolt, two big old washers. Go ahead and move the bolt down. Don't forget to sweep your beer. For you, 2 seconds. For me, 10 minutes. So, cheers. Don't worry, it's the same beer. And I found a tie-down point on the back side of the motor for a hook. We're going to go ahead and slide this bad boy forward. Bring her up some. Get her hooked in. So, I had to switch out our bolt. Had to go a little longer so we can fit our extra large washer. Let's just get this motor pulled out. Genuinely, I don't know what I just did with that big washer. Don't drop the bolt again. And drop the bolt again. You're only seeing it for the first time. And the other one was cut out. My neighbor interrupted me. But that's fine. Either way, we're going to get this motor out in 2 days. I'm determined. Alright. Bolts in place. I found the washer. Big old washer. Fair size bolt. Should be ready to just start going up. That boy out of our way. Not a bad spot for it. Ta-da. Let's go up. anything can happen. Nope. She's coming up. We're hung up on something. Yes, we are. Let's check. So our motor mounts have yet to clear the actual frame mount. If you're watching this, usually you know what I mean. It's a two-piece mount. Okay, I think I see what we should. Looks like a couple of things are coming in contact with our firewall. Try to go up a little bit more. Nope. He's hitting hard too. Huh. I bring y'all over here to see, but you can only see about as much as I can, and that ain't very much, honestly. We want to stay clear because we don't know if any of this could break. Chain will hurt. I'm gonna try and kick it. Better yet, we've got our emotional support tool. I'm like a quarter of an inch clear in this motor now. I'm sure y'all can see it. She's actually picking up the cap. And she's pushing over this way. So close. More than you can actually imagine. I'll bring you all over here to take a look. By the skin of its teeth, it is so close. As you can tell, motor mount definitely has a crack in it. Right there on the firewall. It is just that close on that one side. And then back here on the other side, she's good 2 inches. You can see the gap there under the oil pan. I'll come back once I try and get this freed up a little bit. It looks like we freed it up a little bit. Let the jack down, I reposition it so when the drive shaft falls out of the end of the transmission, hopefully the jack will catch it. Maybe we can save it. If not, it's fine. I do have a spare. Keep your parts. It's not hoarding it, that you can reuse them. Now I'm just kind of guiding this motor off and away from these motor mounts. Just to kind of keep it clean up as much as it can. There with that. I got hair left on this side. Almost looks like the starter might give us a little bit of trouble. Say we have a ground wire that is going to give us a little fighting too. Never mind. This little piece of electrical tape is what was holding it together. Don't say I'm littering. I will clean all of this up. Hopefully once these motor nuts are cleared, hopefully I can take it up a little bit more. That looks fine. Go ahead and try and just pull this back some. I might be a little strong. Not let that motor fall back into place. She's in there. She's in there good. Give her a little persuasion. That sounded honestly a little promising. I genuinely thought this was going to be a little easier. Actually, up to your. So, pick this up here in a minute. I'm going to take a little step back, rethink this whole situation.
So we're going to put a little determination in this yank. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to try and shift that front back. Good job. Avoid that. But unfortunately, that's what we're doing. Yep. So that happened. Go ahead and just try and readjust that. did come out a little bit more actually. Don't have much further to go, honestly. Let's give her one more yank. We'll leave y'all up here. Forgot I left my jack under there. It's fairly clear. She does not want to come out. Now I smell coolant. Yep. That smells like burnt transmission fluid. That sucks. It is all over my jack. At least I know she's lubed up. Well, that's gonna be a mess. Darn it. You can see exactly how far it has moved back. The center there is your trans mount. And it's moved about 5 inches. Enough that the seal where the drive shaft and the transmission meet is separated now. And she's running. So I think I'll have to get some cat litter on that, but at least it is showing evidence of it moving out. She isn't wanting to go anywhere, really. Maybe I'll get back in there with a crowbar. I actually can let it down a little bit. Let's go ahead and just do that, just a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Good enough for government, at least. We see what they do. See how far we've actually come? That's where the motor mount would sit. That's where the motor mount is sitting. It's not even on the lip. Right there. You still hear that trans fluid? It looks like finding a body under there. Looks red to me. I don't know what it looks like to y'all. But yeah, that does appear quite red. Yeah, she's burnt. She's still just a leaking away. Good thing I got cat litter right there to soak it up. No power steering fluid, don't worry. I had to clean the driveway anyway. Let's try it a little bit with the crowbar. He really ain't wanting to come out of there. I was hoping this was just gonna be, you know, now we're at max. Now it's looking like an hour minimum. Let's get something on that and I'll be back.
So, it's been 2 days since our last flip. This motor fought every step of the way. I've almost got the end of the transmission, past the firewall. And I think it's time we can finally slide this hoist back and release her from her frame rail bond. Grab your drink of choice. Mine's not in a bottle, it's hot. About 100 degrees today in our little old Virginia town. Well, more like a city, but I wouldn't even call it that. See how easy it actually is to pull this thing out from back here. Hopefully my bevy don't fall. Bring it up a little bit. A little violent, but it'll do. Got a ground holding us on. I want to say that's probably a 10 mil. Get your hugger dugger. Go to town. Won't be needing that one no more. You see it. Absolutely released it. She's not a self-tapper, so she's going in the bin. If it was a self-tapper, the only bin it'll go in is the trash bin. That'd be aftermarket and it would be broken in the trash. Oh yeah. I'm a 2.2 fan, but not with an auto trans. I'm going to lower a little bit to the ground, just because I think I have somebody who wants this transmission. I think I have 2 people that might want it, but first come, first serve, right? They're going to bolt it, because I'm sure they're going to want the bolts, and if I unbolt it, the bolts are going wherever. But here's what she looks like. She's a little crusty. I did end up having to drop the starter. I did have to cut that exhaust pipe in 2 different places. There's the other piece there. Take off the motor mounts, the lowers. I had to take off a bunch of other stuff, and unfortunately did scuff up our firewall pretty good, and I did make a nice little hole right there. It's nothing I can't patch up. So, I believe that's our throttle cable there. So that'll be about one of the only things that stays on this firewall. This whole assembly's coming off. All the heat, I'm not too sure what this is for, but it'll go to. Power steering will definitely go. I'm probably going to switch to an older brake system, probably pre-ABS. Not too sure what these little rivets are for. I'm assuming something with the heat, something inside the cab. It's fine. I'm pulling the dash anyway. It'll all go. I did, however, find this little flathead.
sitting on top of the transmission. She's a little melted. It did get hot in there. It's one of the other things I had to take off the top of the motor. Did nick the firewall pretty good a couple different times, but we'll get her cleaned up. She's got a couple little dents right there. That's factory, but she's got a couple little dents right there. We didn't damage the tunnel at all, actually. A little scuffing, there's a little dent right there. But other than that, we got some cut fuel lines. That's fine. She'll probably end up with a fuel cell. You can see all of the transmission fluid that just leaked over everything. But I spared as much of the wiring as I could just to be safe. I probably am not running any of this wiring. Not really too sure what this runs to. Something in the front brakes runs both sides. Not really too sure what that's for. Probably something with the ABS module. Not sure if I sit there and trace it through all the loom, I could find it, but I'm not gonna run ABS. This is gonna be the bare bones race truck. This is gonna be a race truck for drag racing, possibly, and a show truck. I want the engine bay to look like it's meant. Like I could run the built 4.3 Vortec for, I don't know, a year or two while I build the engine of choice, which engine of choice, it's not a 305, it's not a 350, it's not a 383. I want a big block 454. Which I know you're all like, whoa. I'm gonna probably have to send the frame off before I put a big block in this thing. Have them brace it up so it doesn't twist under all the torquems. But we'll get there eventually. When that built 4.3 comes out of here, it'll end up in my 94 S10. It's already got a 4.3 in it. Fairly low miles, supposedly, but it has its problems. But yeah, I'm gonna get this motor set down somewhere, get the hoist put away, and then we'll start cleaning this up. I'm gonna hit it with some degreaser and just start pulling stuff off the back side of the firewall and then slowly pull the dash out. So that's video number 1 on the Sanoma build. As you can tell, 4.3, just a hanging there. I wouldn't be unhappy if it dropped. I wouldn't be happy if it did.
Thank you guys for watching. If you stayed tuned this long. Don't know what I'm gonna do with this motor, but motor probably go in the trash. Trans will probably give away. Don't need it. Not sure. Thank you guys for watching. Check back in the next one.